Welcome back to some new PettyRevenge stories, where people share small victories over those who wronged them. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now, let's start with the first story, shall we? It's called Parking Spots. My coworker came to work in a bad mood. I'm somewhat new at my job. We all drive vans assigned to us at work and park them technically wherever. But we all have our unofficial spots we park in every day. Since I'm the newest, I parked the furthest away down a hill. A mechanic was dropping off a new car, and I couldn't figure out the best place to park it. So I asked, where should he park the car? And my coworker said, wherever he wants to freaking park it. I said okay and just walked away. End of shift, I get back before she does and park my work van in her unofficial spot. Because we park wherever we want to freaking park, I guess. The next story is called The Honker. I was driving home one day on a road with many lanes. Came to a stop at a red light, and the guy behind me honked the moment the light turned green. I hadn't been distracted at all, and I had pushed the gas at the very moment the light had turned green. So I brushed it off as a mistake and kept going, thinking that if he had a problem and wanted to pass me, there was plenty of space. But at the next stop, this time my yield sign turning right onto another road, he was laying on the horn again for no reason. Again, I was not distracted, and I hadn't introduced any extra delays at all. So that was enough for me. I put it in park, stepped out, and made a big show of checking the back of my vehicle and my tires for some kind of damage or problem. Finding nothing, I walked over to ask what the trouble was. I noticed you honked at me a few times. Is there a problem with my vehicle? I can't see anything. The guy was swearing up and down, telling me he had places to be. So I got back and we moved on. And then I noticed he did a big U-turn on the street, because apparently he had been driving the wrong direction. So I guess he was more concerned with honking at me than he was with paying attention to where he was going. The third story is called Entitled Tesla Driver. This happened late 2023. The revenge wasn't my doing, but it was spectacular to witness. I had an appointment about 30 minutes north of my home, through the hills of the Bay Area, but the ride back took 3 hours via a detour because of a freeway closure. When this happened, we'd already been stuck on the detour a couple of hours, surrounded by hills on both sides, and had resigned ourselves to our fate. We were inching forward behind the person ahead, who was just as stuck as we were, when a Tesla decided he shouldn't have to wait. He sped by on the left shoulder, until he ran out of space between the center divide and a big truck. He kept nosing forward, like he expected the truck to move enough for him to get by. But the truck driver didn't care and wasn't moving over. We all watched the slow motion crash as bit by bit the trailer scraped along the side of the Tesla. When it reached the rearview mirror, the whole side of the car was literally lifted a foot off the ground until the mirror ripped off. Then it loudly crashed back down. It was the only entertainment we had. The next story is called Car Dealer Manager. Many years ago, I was in the process of buying a brand new sports car, my dream car. I had wanted this car since I was 12. I was young and in my 20s and wanted to reward myself for some recent business success. I did the typical test drive at the local dealership, decided on the color, options and so on, and was negotiating the price with the salesman. After that, he told me that they didn't actually have the car with the color and options at the dealership. They had to get it transported from another dealership about 30 miles away. This would take a few days, so I'd have to wait a week before I could take possession of the new car. I didn't think that was too unreasonable, so I agreed and would come back a week later. We finished the paperwork with the manager, signed everything, and was making to leave when I noticed something. They were going to charge me a $150 transportation fee to move the car from the other dealership. They never told me about this additional fee during the negotiation process, so I was a bit frustrated and told them so. For $150 I could go get the car myself. The manager then tells me, "It's too bad you already signed the contract. You should have been more observant. We can take the charge off now." He had a smug grin on his face in a tone that told me he was very happy about this. I wasn't at all happy and let him know, but there was nothing I could do at that point. The contract was signed. A week later, I came to pick up my new sports car. When I arrived, the same manager came up to me and asked to speak with me in his office. He explained that there was a mistake with the invoice. The car I was buying had all the options on it. It was fully loaded with everything, including what they called a gold package, where the emblem and lettering on the car was in gold instead of the standard silver. He explained that this package came with an additional cost of $400, but they had neglected to add this cost to the invoice. I needed to make up that difference. I didn't even know a gold package was an option. They never mentioned it before. I smiled my best smug grin and told him, "It's too bad you already signed the contract. You should have been more observant." I paused a bit to let that sink in, then said, "I'm going to pick up my car with the VIN that's on the contract, for the price on the contract," and stood up. He hung his head in defeat, knowing there was nothing he could do about it, since he had signed the contract. If he hadn't treated me the way he did a week earlier, I might have considered negotiating a new price, but I felt he deserved to be put in his place. He handed me the keys, and I drove off in my new sports car, feeling great. The gold looked better with my color choice than the silver would have anyway. The fifth story is called A Fitting Tip. Once upon a time, many years ago, there was a Friendly's, where we would frequently get breakfast. And back in that day, there was a deal available. You could get 2 pancakes, 2 sausages or strips of bacon, and 2 eggs for $2.22, as long as you were there before 11 AM. So we go with a large party to Friendly's and arrive at the empty restaurant before 11 AM. And then we wait and wait and wait some more. We are not waited on until after 11, and so the staff refuses to give us the deal. We end up ordering the same things we'd get with the deal, but because we weren't waited on until after the deal had expired, it cost much more. With a group of our size, we ended up with a sizable bill. Now, my dad was a waiter. He understands well the importance of tips and almost always tips generously, but not on this day. Oh no. On the day of this incident, my dad left a fitting tip, $2.22. The last story is called the Police. So, I moved into this house in 2017. Nice neighborhood, everyone usually friendly, except for an elderly couple directly across from me. They had called the cops on everyone for everything. They have even had numerous screaming matches with other neighbors over their wage issues. One occasion was kids playing in a public street in front of our houses. Since moving in, I have been cordial, offered them food when I grilled outside, take them packages I get by mistake, say good morning and wave at them. They can barely walk, and one of them is going blind. Since moving in, I noticed they get their yard treated, and if I mow and note the treatment sign withering away in their yard, I get it and throw it away for them. Been doing this since 2017. Today I mow, chunk their tattered sign, and go back in to enjoy my day. 45 minutes later, a deputy is knocking on my door, asking what my issue is with my neighbor. Explains I threw out their sign, and they called him. Upon finding out what the sign is, he gives me the "you are kidding" look. He puts it back in their yard. They sat out there commenting BS on their porch while the cop was there. After they left, they hurried inside. I took a picture of the sign, sent it to the HOA as a violation, as it has been out there for 2 weeks per the date on it. Hope they like the fine they get. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.